Hello, it's July 3rd, 2008. Time for another garden update. You can see my lettuce is about played out, my first batch. However, my second batch of Black Seed Simpson is coming along nicely, and we've got several cuttings off of it. My butternut squash, I have 2 butternut squash on the plant. It's growing pretty well. You might remember my second row was onions, and we have harvested all but maybe 2 onions left. Probably be harvesting those in the next week or so. Next we have my Blue Lake variety green beans. These have been pretty well. We've harvested several batches off of them so far, but I actually expected them to produce a little more than they have been. But still, nonetheless, they've been producing well. Can't complain too much. The next row is my peppers. I have 2 habanero peppers right here, and then 4 jalapeno peppers. And then I also have a volunteer something growing here. I think it's going to be, I would have guessed a cantaloupe. I thought I had a volunteer cantaloupe, but it turned out to be a pumpkin, so we'll see. Next row is my sweet potatoes, which you can see are doing very well. The problem we have every time this year is they just want to take over. You can see they're just sprawling everywhere. My wife and I spent a lot of time just trying to keep them in the row. This again was a variety of Beauregard. Been very pleased growing it before. The next row is our herb row, and you can see our basil has finally started coming up. We've actually grown, we've actually harvested several times. My wife's made some pesto out of it. Additionally, we have the oregano, which has bloomed. It looks like it's a little weak now, probably needs some water. We've gathered the caraway seeds, which I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with it. I think I'll probably end up using it with bread or something. Next row is my Hungarian yellow wax peppers, and these have just been very productive. I've been very pleased with them. You can see they're just loaded with peppers here. Very nice. After that is my strawberries, the Sequoia and the Quinault. As I mentioned, the Sequoia turned out to be very sweet. We will actually be propagating it. It's starting to send out runners already, so we will start propagating it in the next few days, probably start to try to capture those so we can establish us a nice strawberry bed next year. Asparagus continues just to grow, and we'll let that continue to grow until next spring where we harvest again. My tomatoes, you can see my Better Boys. We've gathered probably 3 or 4 tomatoes off the Better Boys so far. But my goal is always to have ripe tomatoes by July 4th. It looks like we've met that goal again. Next was our Sweet 100's cherry tomatoes. Gathered a bunch of those as well. You can see my straight early yellow squash pretty much played out, at least this plant. Here is what I was referring to a while ago. This was a volunteer vine, which I thought was going to be a cantaloupe. Obviously, it looks like it's going to be a pumpkin instead. This plant's also played out. We still have one that's producing, and I have 2 more back here that's coming along slowly. Next row is my carrots, doing very nicely. Probably several months before they're ready, though. After that, we have a row of radishes. And then we have some mesclun salad greens we've been cutting off of, just kind of a mixture blend. After that, we have some more herbs with our cilantro, which we've used to make some salsa, and we also have sage coming. Here you can see my cucumbers growing up nicely. Here's the cucumbers. We have a lot of cucumbers hanging off the vine. Gathered several cucumbers already. Next rows, you might remember, I had 2 rows of heirloom garlic. I've already gathered that. We gathered it, we let it sit here and dry a few days, and then I've moved it into a storage shed to finish drying. I'll show you that in a few minutes. After that is my bell peppers. We have gathered 1 bell pepper, and we have more on the way. You can see the baby bells all over here. So it's been doing very well. And then here is my cantaloupe I've been experimenting with, growing in a cage. I have 4 cantaloupe in the cage. I've actually put little supports in there so that they would have something to help hold up the fruit since it's so heavy. So come with me and I'll show you the garlic in the storage building. Well, I have both of my heirloom variety garlics drying in my storage building. The first variety was Takwa Avri, which is an heirloom variety ordered from Seed Saver Exchange. It's actually the most popular requested garlic from Seed Saver's yearbook ordering catalog. It's supposed to be a very good garlic, so we're actually anxious. This garlic is actually pretty much processed. You can see it's actually shrunken in near the neck. So this garlic is pretty much ready to use. We just have it out here. Good air circulation. This is just an old shelf I had. So I'm just letting it sit here and continue to dry. The second variety I had was a Siberian variety, also ordered from Seed Saver Exchange. This is a little bigger bulb and actually turns a purple when you actually shed the skin. It's a nice purple clove. It's also drying. This is just an old compost screen I had, not using, just propped up on a couple bales of straw. So that's pretty much it for the garden for this July.